Welcome back to the Press Club. I'm Kendall Burton. I'm here with Mr. Earl Bousquet. Before the break, we were talking about a major climate change meeting in Martinique, one of a series of meetings happening across the region and the world in preparation for this major climate summit at the end of the year. Let's talk a little bit about the coverage. Why is it you think climate issues and related issues are not making it into mainstream media?
You said it earlier, it's not sexy enough. Yeah. It's not excitement. It doesn't bleed. You know, for the same
but
reason.
At the end of the day, all of us are going to be impacted significantly.
And I think the reason why it is not receiving the coverage is because not enough of us as journalists and media persons understand and accept the extent to which climate change affects us. Again, our continuous every week theme, we are first and foremost human beings and citizens of the world, so that when the climate changes, it also affects us. You know, an increased sea level rise affects our ability to bathe on the beach. You know, increased global warming results in that. But we only see and feel the effects, but we don't, in my view, give sufficient attention to the causes so that we could know what we are doing that may be contributing to the causes. We have, for example, a situation where, take the current drought. There was an extended drought season last year where a national water emergency was imposed, and it had to be extended. From the very early this year, WASCO has been telling us, in effect, last year's drought never stopped. So WASCO has again implemented drought-related measures. As we speak tonight here, in many areas, the water has had to be closed down as a result of the drought. Now, how do we contribute to the drought? Or how can we prepare ourselves to be less affected by the drought? Until we know that and accept that we, as fellow human beings, also have a role outside of our journalist uniform to help fight climate change or prepare to resist and deal with the effects, until we know that one of the ways to beat the drought is to save water, and until we know that there are several ways we can save water, including not washing our cars with pipe water, you know, including ensuring that we don't stay under the pipe for as long as we normally do when we feel hot and we need a long bath. You know, the simple things that we can do. Saving electricity will not only reduce our electricity bill, but it will also reduce the overall dependence on the fossil fuels. That is the diesel that is used to operate the power station, which is sending out the clouds which go up into the atmosphere, which contribute to global warming, which result in the snow melting in the Arctic, which increases the flow of water into the ocean, which rises it all the way down to us. So I think until such time as we in the media understand and accept those things, we will continue to operate as, unfortunately, we still do, on the basis of if it bleeds, it leads. On the same day that the conference was taking place last Saturday in Martinique, the lead story in most of the local news items had to do with a stepfather having stabbed his stepson in Choiseul. So, you know, that was more newsworthy, that a father killed his stepson. Not that there might have been a reason for a father to kill his stepson, not that we should wonder why a stepfather would have to kill his stepson. There was none of that in any of the stories. It was just simply a father killed his stepson, he ran away, and the police looking for him.
Mm-hmm.
Vis-a-vis what we've just been talking about, the importance of that Martinique meeting. But if editors don't know it, they will not
but you see, then again,
assign.
Are we, as you often refer to it, as in a situation where the tail is wagging the dog rather than the dog wagging the tail? Are we putting out these stories or placing emphasis on these stories because we think that is what the people want? We are pandering to what the people desire, what their taste is? Or do you see the media as relinquishing its educational role, its information role, in terms of highlighting, as we said, the issues related to climate change, how it's going to impact crime and security, how it's going to impact agriculture and education and health? Because obviously, if you have climate change and hotter conditions and we have bigger hurricanes and more flooding, there are health implications there. You know, for the, a lot of diseases, we talk about chikungunya and dengue and all these things. Breeding
Our
grounds
coral
for
reefs,
those
disappearance of our coral, shifting fish migration patterns.
You understand?
You know.
So we have room enough to highlight those stories and educate people, but are we doing that because people will switch the channel, you know, to the other station who has the crime stories, who has the blood stories?
I think it's a mixture of all the above, but I go back to the general theme that I think it is also because anyone who would decide to make a story about death, suicide, murder, any of those sorts of bleeding stories, bloody stories, as a headline before a climate change summit next door, is suffering from what we described, the lack of understanding and appreciation of the importance. In many cases, it could be, yes, if you want to say the tail is wagging the dog, that because people like it and people want to hear it, we should give it to them. I think we should examine why people like it. People like it because that's all we've been giving them. I can tell you for the last more than 5 years, every morning before 7 o'clock, I could tell you how many people got killed in Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica from just one radio station.
Yeah.
Every morning, 5 days a week. And if I continue to listen, I'll hear it more. So I'm saying that there is that aspect. There is also the other aspect that the people, the men and women in the media, the human beings in the media, the citizens of St. Lucia in the media, who have not been brought professionally trained in terms of seeing the role in the media as taking that what you described as educational role. I think it's more than just educational. It's information. It's education. It's awareness.
Right.
It's the extent to which we are made to believe that we have to be neutral, and we just have to report what happened. What happened, and don't put nothing more in it. Or those who would say to us that this is what the people want. But at the end of the day, I think, personally, and that's my personal view, I think those of us who do that, it is because we actually wake up every morning wondering who got killed last night.
Yeah.
And searching those internet media that give you the on-the-ball, gory details. And from the time, oh boy, a stepfather killed his stepson in Choiseul. Then before that, the big one was, oh boy, a popular mechanic in Babinogon hung himself for a GoPuel. You know, and before that, you know, we never look beyond the actual stabbing, shooting, elimination of life.
No, I don't know if you were able to attend. I wasn't able to. There was a meeting of the Media Association with talk show hosts and news editors. It was
actually, I think you and I are among those who work.
Yeah.
It was
Listening to the newscast, what I heard, and I was told that a document would be issued highlighting some of the key points discussed at that meeting, but what I heard Maria Fontenelle, the PRO, was saying or suggesting is, well, one of two things. We change our approach in terms of coverage of these things, and suicides and that sort of thing. All of us together as media professionals and organizations agree this is the direction that we're going to head. This is how we're going to approach these stories, the same way we did with bomb scares and that sort of thing. And try to work together to create some sort of guideline, for all media houses across the board. And this is how we're going to operate. How practical do you think that is in this competitive media environment? Whereas while we in the media on the ground might be willing to take that approach, the media owners and managers may not. So how practical is that suggestion?
I don't think, first of all, I think it was a good initiative, and I will tell you what I thought was good coming out of it. I think that what you've just described is the usual normal wanting to do something for Press Freedom Day, wanting to say something for World Press Freedom Day, but between World Press Freedom Days, we hardly see and hear those sorts of initiatives. Nonetheless, when it happens, it's good that it happens because it provides the forum for discussion of the issues. As you pointed out, I don't know whether you meant that, but any attempt to self-regulate, which is equal to self-censorship in many respects. But while it might sound good to say, let's do this together, let's regulate ourselves before the government regulates us.
But I don't know if I see that as regulation.
No, I'm saying, okay, let's do things together.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, let's do things together. Maybe I'm using I'm putting it in the wrong bracket.
Okay.
Let's do things together. That is commendable, because if you do things together, at least you agree on a common approach to things that affect us. The point you're making is that we're not alone in this. We're not alone in this. The media houses, the publishers and broadcasters, the media owners also have to be made to know, feel, and understand that the things that we are trying to do as their employees, we would be restricted in improving our ability to be better at whatever we're employed for, if you can see with us and meet us halfway. So like the media, some, not enough, but again, some in the media did the positive thing of seeking psychological assessments on the effect of covering crime stories on the media. Now, that was one limited but very important aspect. You've taken it to a further level. During the last time, you pointed out that perhaps the next stage could and should be, or can be, that the media engages the media owners in discussion on the wider health implications. What I normally describe as the hazards, the occupational hazards, the health occupational hazards.
I wanted to hold that thought and you'll be able to expand a little further, but we're due for a break. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion.
Your clock working fast, man.
No, it's fairly normal.
Okay.